Hello everyone. In this video, I will talk about the automatic body rigging in 3ds Max. First, let's open a sample file. It is a wizard character. Before we begin, we need to make sure this geometry is editable poly. And try to keep the model clean and no history nodes in stack. Like this. The body model should be a unified whole. Try to keep it in rest pose. Okay, let's hide the hat for now. Although the topology of this model is not ideal, with some areas having insufficient edge loops, it's fine. We can use this character to test the rigging. Let's open the Advanced Body Rig panel. You can see this interface. There is a hand recognition and body recognition panel. First, let's recognize the body. When recognizing the body, try not to display the wireframe. It will say it cannot find the body, because it is an automatic recognition algorithm. Wireframe display may hinder recognition. So, avoid displaying the wireframe for now. When using this feature, make sure to open the main software of Animcraft, because some calculations require access to the Animcraft main software. Keep selecting the body. Click on the Body AI option. Click on it. It will start recognizing and creating bone points. Normally, these points should be on the left side of your character. However, the recognition may not be perfect. Now they are on the right side, it's incorrect. So, we have to do some more recognition. We can move the camera. And then do another recognition. Try more times. Until the locator bones appear to the left side. But if they are always on the right, you have to move all of them to the left manually later. Okay, it is working now. The bones appear on the left side of the character. But we still need to adjust them later, because the algorithm is not perfect. Let's continue and work for the hand. Also start with the left hand. There is a left text here. We should make the camera aim to the hand straight forward. There shouldn't be any models behind the hand, because it will be shooting rays from the camera and create bones in positions of hit points on the hand. Also, adjust the camera to face the hand with the angle and size referring the image on the panel like this. The forward and backward are both fine. But the important thing is to have no other models behind. Once we have the desired angle, click on the Finger AI option. It will create the bones for the fingers with the algorithm. These help with positioning. We can manually adjust these points. Move them to the desired positions. By default, they will be in the center of 2 hit points of polygon. Sometimes, due to recognition issues or angles, the positioning result may not be good enough. Because this positioning is so important for the rigging result later, you'd better manually adjust these positions. Make slight adjustments as needed, according to the human anatomy rules. Like what I'm doing now. Okay. We still need to make some fixes on the body positioning. Because sometimes, for example, as you can see, it recognized the eyes. But actually, that's the position of the head. Its name is here, the head bone. Let's try to place it at the connection position of neck and head, and as much as toward the center. These are all for positioning. Let's position the bones in front view first. These bone can be pulled downward. And this one should be in the middle of the shoulders. And the arms. The position of the elbows. We can adjust them slightly. And the wrists. Good. The knees bone are a bit off. As we mentioned before, if these bones are on the right of the character, we need to move them all to the left side, because we consider the left side as the reference. Let's adjust the positions. The green one is for the sole of the ankle. The yellow one is for the foot. I'll move it to the lower center. This purple one is for the toe. Now let's switch to the side view. Place this head bone. in the connection point between the head and neck. They will be used for generating rig later. So adjust the post ions as better as possible. Then this is for the neck. Also placed in the center between the neck and chest. This is for the waist. Let's move it slightly to the center. And this one. And this purple toe bone must be placed at the front. And this yellow one is for the sole of the foot. It's the junction between the toes and foot. Something like this. After positioning, click on this button to create the other half of the bones. It will mirror the positions from the left to the right side and create the bones. After creating, if we still want to fix the positions, we can also adjust the left side positions. For example, if we move this one, we can move it. Select this bone. After moving it, we can click on this button once again. It will mirror the positions rather than create again. So we can adjust the positions symmetrically. After adjusting, when you satisfy the positioning, it will import an Animecraft preset weighting helper character rig. Import it. At this point, based on our previous positioning information, it will import a weighting helper character rig. By default, it will try to match our target character model, and it will try to be inside. Then, we can adjust the size of the weighting model inside. To match the model, we need to rig. This way, the automatic weighting result will be better. For example, for the head, to adjust its position, we can select and move the rigged locator. Moving this locator adjusts the rotation and position in the weight model and its position. Now, we'll notice that the head inside is too small. We can select this yellow bone, which is the bone for skinning, and we need to use a tool. In the animation menu, under Bone Tools, enable the Bone Edit mode. Then we can scale this bone. We can independently scale the size of this bone to scale the size of the head and try to match it as closely as possible. No worries about the streak or squash. Just try to match the size of the head model approximately. We can also align the head orientation by positioning this locator. And here, I can move it as well. We just need an approximate adjustment. We don't need it to be very precise. After we're done positioning, we need to disable the edit mode. Then, back to our panel and look at the right side. It is the rigging scheme set up. The rigging scheme represents the bone setup for different character types. For example, some characters may have only 3 fingers. Or some characters don't need some bones. We can set up them on the right side of the panel. By clicking on it, it will turn gray. When it is gray, it won't generate the bones in the gray positions when rig the character. As for fingers, there is a order requirement. For example, if your character have 3 fingers, the order of enabling should start with the thumb. And it should follow the order to index, middle, ring and pinky finger. Additionally, the left and right sides should be symmetrical. That means you can't have 3 fingers on the left hand and 5 fingers on the right hand. It now only supports the same on both sides. So, let's back on the finger. For example, if we want to enable only 3 fingers, we must enable them in the order. Start with thumb, then follow the index and middle finger. This is a must no matter what your character hand look like. When creating the biped rig, it will refer these set up in order. And then, below is the template feature. For example, once you've finished setting up your scheme, let's say this special character have only 3 fingers. You can save it as a template. For example, I'll give it a name, 6. And save it in this path. Then we have a template. Here also you can delete the template. If you click and try to delete the current template, and it will ask if you want to delete it. Below, if we switch to other template. Once selected, click Set. It will change the bone setup based on the template, like the finger's status of enable or disable. Let's try to switch to the template one. And click Set Template. In this template, only 2 fingers are enabled. Then, we click Rig. It will create a biped skeleton and skin the model. Let's try it now. It will create a biped with only 2 fingers. Click. Now let's look at the biped skeleton. It only has 2 fingers. And the waist only has spine and spine 1. There are only 2. Because we don't have spine 2 in scheme with this template. This is just an example. Let's remove the biped and create a rig with full bones. Let's delete the created biped. And if we want it to be perfection, we can delete this model's hierarchy in modifier list. Now, let's select a template with full bones. And let's click Rig again. It will create a rig with full fingers. At this point, the skinning and weighting are already done. But it didn't use the helper weighting. Now, let's try to move this locator. You might notice the weights are already there. But we still need to copy the weight from helper one more time in the next step. Also, the biped is just controller. We can adjust its shape later. For example, the head is a bit large. That's okay. We can adjust it later. Now, after rigging, make sure selecting the model that needs to be rigged. If we click Copy Skin, it will make a copy of the model. And use the biped to skin and drive it. Click it. After copying, a new model is created. And let's hide the old one. And we don't need these Animecraft stuffs anymore. The other group can be removed as well. Let's hide them. Additionally, the head of the biped is a bit large. We can scale it down a bit. In this mode, you can scale down the head. After scaling down, you can click and disable it. Now, let's take a look at the weights. This time, the weights are the right version. This is the head movement. It is controlled with the biped rug. Actually, the biped bone is just some controllers. Its size doesn't actually affect anything. It's just a set of controller. Now, let's take a look at the weights of the hands. And for some details, you may need to manually adjust them. Here in this video, it shows a quick and automatic initial weight. Now, you can rotate and see. Rotate the body a bit. Let's take a look at the weights of the feet. Looks fine, and it is enough for some purposes already. So, this is the quick and automatic rigging in 3ds Max. Thanks for watching, see you next time.